Hello everyone, welcome to Indian Economy by Aman Soni. In today's news hour, we'll be discussing the important articles related to economy from the Hindu newspaper. Yesterday we have discussed an article about the India UAE signing a trade pact. So we need not read the news again because yesterday we studied in depth. And few days back we also studied about the IPO, that is the initial public offering by LIC, and we also studied the difference between IPO and FPO, underwriting, etc. And in today's editorial page, there is no news related to economy. Here in the news page, we have a news related to the hydrogen policy. Let's go through it in detail. The government recently announced the green hydrogen policy. Previously, the Prime Minister had announced about the green hydrogen mission, the national hydrogen mission, and the government announced the policy details of the green hydrogen policy. And what are the components of that green hydrogen policy? Let's go through in detail. During the Independence Day, the Prime Minister announced the National Hydrogen Mission. And what is the aim of this mission? It is to help the Indian government achieve its climate targets and making India into a green hydrogen hub. Here, before proceeding into the mission, we need to understand what is green hydrogen. We know that hydrogen is a fuel, but the color, the green hydrogen, blue hydrogen, the gray, brown of it depends on the way it is produced. For example, in blue hydrogen, the natural gas is used to produce the hydrogen, and in gray hydrogen also the coal and natural gas is produced. But the difference between blue hydrogen and gray hydrogen is, in gray hydrogen the carbon dioxide is emitted and it is not captured, whereas in blue hydrogen the carbon dioxide is captured and sequestrated. When it comes to green hydrogen, here we are using natural gas and biomass in blue hydrogen, which are fossil fuels. In green hydrogen, the energy source that we use would be renewable, green in nature. So we either use wind energy or solar energy, and water would be, and that energy would be used for electrolysis. And in electrolysis, the water is separated from hydrogen, and the final byproducts would be hydrogen and oxygen. In green energy, we use renewable energy sources as the energy source, and the final byproduct would be hydrogen and oxygen. So it is a clean fuel, and there is no carbon dioxide emitted here. It is just hydrogen and oxygen that is emitted. That's the difference between blue hydrogen and green hydrogen. So under this mission, the main cost of producing green hydrogen is the cost of renewable energy. The input cost of this renewable energy used for electrolysis is the main cost, which is currently making production of green hydrogen not viable economically. So this national hydrogen policy focuses on reducing this cost of this renewable energy so that the total input cost would reduce and the final production of green hydrogen would be cheaper compared to the current level of production. Now let's go in detail about the policy. The government has set up a target of production of 5 million tons of green hydrogen energy by 2030. For that, it has given the rules for the green hydrogen policy and what are the benefits. The green hydrogen or ammonia manufacturers, they will be able to purchase the renewable power from any of the power exchanges, or they can set up the renewable energy capacity themselves anywhere in India. And open access would be granted within 15 days of receipt of application. Open access here means open access to the transmission grid of electricity. And once the green hydrogen manufacturer, they have produced or purchased renewable energy, they can store that renewable energy with the distribution company for a time up to 30 days. So at a particular point of time, say they may not completely use the renewable energy that they have purchased or produced, they can store that energy with the distribution company up to 30 days, so that this will help in the optimum utilization of resources. And another main charges that make the electricity tariffs high are the interstate transmission charges. In order to promote green energy, here the interstate transmission charges are waived for a period of 25 years. And every electricity company, they have something called renewable purchase obligation. That is, out of total energy produced, certain percentage of energy has to be purchased from the renewable sources of energy. Now this renewable source of energy would be given even to the green hydrogen, so that the power distribution companies would be able to purchase this renewable energy. This concept is just like the priority sector lending norms in banking sector, wherein in order to promote credit to a particular sector, the government and the Reserve Bank would nominate that sector as priority sector, so that banks would give credit to that sector and credit for that particular sector will increase. The same with electricity here. So the green energy would be covered under the renewable purchase obligations. And in order to help in easing of statutory clearances, a single portal is made wherein all the clearances related to the business would be cleared at once, so that there is no delays and red tapeism. The green energy manufacturers, they are allowed to set up bunkers near ports for storing of green energy and green ammonia, so that they can export the storage of hydrogen or the ammonia, or it can also be used in the shipping industry. And the land for this particular storage would be provided by the respective port authorities. So what are the benefits of this national hydrogen policy now? Hydrogen is a clean fuel. We just saw the end byproducts would be just hydrogen and oxygen. So it is a clean fuel. So it will provide a clean fuel for the people of the country. And when we go for this clean fuel, it will reduce the dependency on the fossil fuels, and it will also reduce the crude oil imports. Because we are reducing the dependency on crude oil, the crude oil imports will reduce. This will also affect our balance of payments favorably, because the import bill will reduce. And currently we have been discussing about how the crude oil prices are increasing and how we are risking importing inflation into the country. We can avoid all that when we reduce the crude oil imports. And this will also help our country to emerge as a hub for green energy and green ammonia. If we produce more than the domestic consumption, we can export that green energy and again earn foreign exchange, which is good for the nation. That's about green energy. So this article discusses that close to 50 to 70% of the cost of green energy results from the input source of renewable energy, that is the solar energy or the wind energy that is used in the electrolysis. If we can reduce that cost, the total output cost would be reduced. We just saw how the government is promoting the renewable energy. And one of the negative points is the things which are not being covered under the policy is The states also have their own access charge. Access charge are charged by the state to access the transmission power grid. So in order to send your electricity through the transmission power lines, the states have their own access charge, and it will vary from state to state. If there is one particular rate uniformly across the country, it would have been better, but now currently it is different. Each state will charge a different rate, tariff rate, so it would affect the cost again. This thing has to be taken care of. In business page, we need not read the news related to Vedanta. You just need to read the highlight. We have been discussing about the topics of semiconductor shortage and need for Indian companies to invest in semiconductor industries. Now the Vedanta company is going to invest in the semiconductor industry. We need not go through this GDP production of SBI. Again, this news. Just read the headline. See the passenger traffic is falling in the domestic airline sector, and we need not go through these details. We have been reading about the LIC IPO. We have discussed the concept, so need not go through the details. Not required. Again, all these news are news related to individual companies, so we need not read all this news. Those are the news related to economy today. Thank you so much.